Stop that shit!
Don't shoot me! Shoot! Get him! Get him!
A routine patrol through Buffalo suddenly turns into pure chaos. Two officers spot a suspect accused of a violent stabbing, but within seconds, the confrontation spirals out of control. The suspect refuses commands, pulls weapons, and then screams three chilling words. Shoot me. Moments later, an officer is stabbed in the back, traffic comes to a halt, and gunshots ring out in the middle of Broadway. This is the bodycam footage and the full story behind the violent confrontation involving 35-year-old Derek Harris. Buffalo, New York, May 23, 2026. Police officers were patrolling near Deschler Street and Broadway when a pedestrian suddenly flagged them down. The woman urgently pointed toward a man nearby and claimed he had stabbed her boyfriend the day before. That suspect was identified as Derek Harris. What initially looked like a standard stop quickly became a dangerous, rapidly evolving encounter that left an officer injured and the suspect fighting for his life. And from the very beginning, officers could already tell something was wrong. As officers approached Harris, they immediately noticed he wasn't empty-handed. In one hand, he held a box cutter. In the other, a pair of scissors. Officer Simonian and Officer Slopinski stepped out of their patrol vehicle and began giving commands, trying to de-escalate the situation before it became deadly. But Harris refused to cooperate. Instead of backing down, he stayed armed and agitated while officers attempted to talk him into surrendering peacefully. The tension escalated fast. With Harris refusing repeated commands to drop the weapons, Officer Simonian drew his department-issued firearm. That's when the suspect reportedly shouted, "Shoot me." At that point, officers were dealing with a man armed with multiple sharp weapons, acting unpredictably in a public street filled with civilians and moving traffic. Every second became more dangerous. Officer Simonian then attempted to move in and detain Harris before the situation got worse. But in an instant, everything exploded into violence. Harris suddenly lunged and stabbed Officer Simonian in the back with the box cutter. The attack happened at extremely close range, giving the officers almost no time to react. As the stabbing occurred, Officer Slopinski immediately deployed his taser in an attempt to stop Harris before he could attack again. The taser successfully brought Harris to the ground for a brief moment. Officers rushed in, trying to secure the weapons and place him under arrest. But the struggle was far from over. Despite being tossed and restrained, Harris managed to break free from both officers. And then he ran. Still armed with the box cutter and scissors, Harris sprinted directly into traffic on Broadway. Cars were moving through the intersection as the suspect ran into the roadway, creating an even more dangerous situation for everyone nearby. The officers chased after him, trying desperately to stop him before another civilian got hurt. At this point, Officer Simonian had already been stabbed. Despite the injury, he continued pursuing the suspect through the street. The entire encounter was unfolding in seconds. Pedestrians nearby had almost no time to process what was happening. Drivers were suddenly faced with a man armed with blades running through active traffic while officers pursued him with weapons drawn. Then the confrontation reached its breaking point. As Harris continued moving through the roadway while still armed, Officer Simonian fired 2 rounds. The shot struck Harris in the hip and torso. The suspect collapsed in the street as officers quickly moved in to secure the weapons and take him into custody. But even after the gunfire stopped, the situation remained extremely serious. Both the suspect and the officer were badly injured. And officers immediately shifted from stopping the threat. Police on scene began rendering emergency medical aid to Harris almost immediately. According to officials, Harris suffered gunshot wounds to the torso and hip, along with stab wounds to the chest and neck. Meanwhile, Officer Simonian was transported to Erie County Medical Center in a police vehicle after suffering the stab wound to his back. Buffalo fire personnel and AMR medics arrived shortly afterward and continued emergency treatment on scene before Harris was transported to the hospital. Authorities later confirmed that Harris survived the shooting and remained hospitalized. As investigators pieced together the incident, more information about Harris began to emerge. Police announced that Harris had already been charged with first-degree robbery connected to the robbery of a Lyft driver. Officials also confirmed that additional charges were still pending following the violent confrontation with officers. What started as officers responding to information from a pedestrian turned into a life-or-death struggle in the middle of a busy Buffalo street. Within moments, an officer was stabbed. A suspect ran armed through traffic. And police were forced to make split-second decisions under extreme pressure. Thankfully, no civilians were reported injured during the chaos. But for everyone involved, the events of May 23 became another reminder of how unpredictable and dangerous street encounters can become in an instant. What do you think about this incident? Should officers have handled the situation differently, or did they do what was necessary after the stabbing attack? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more real police body cam incidents and breaking case coverage, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.